Welcome to another episode of laser engraving and using LightBurn software, where I share my journey of learning how to use this software. And in this episode, I'm also going to send files to the laser engraver and produce a couple of burns. I hope that it is also helping others who are on this same journey and maybe even entertaining them as I struggle to learn some things and have some successes. I have so far just selected a square and shrunk it down and then made that a blue layer, and you can see the layer line in the window to the right. I am now selecting the A for text, and I have turned this into a red layer. In this video, I am finally creating a small project with the hope of transferring it over to the laser engraver and getting something burned onto wood today. So I'm just going to center this now. I have selected it and you can see it's all broken lines, and I'm just centering it in the middle of the square. Now I might like to play with the text a little bit and choose a different font. So to do that, I just go up here to where it says Arial. And what I love about this is when you move the cursor over each font, it automatically changes the letters and you can see the changes and decide on the font that works best. Let me try this one. Maybe something a little smaller, I'm not sure. Or am I going to make the square bigger? Oh, I'm making the word smaller by dragging the corner inwards. And then I'm going to center this again. There you go. I do like that font. So I think this is good enough for a little test run. I have the blue layer here with line, and I think that I will do a fill for the red layer. Instead of line, I'll try fill. Take a little risk. Once I save this file, I would like to have a look at the preview of how it's going to burn. So, I just realized I put offset fill here and I'd like to make it just fill. Now I'm going to go up to the top bar and see if I can find that preview window to see how it burns. There it is. In this window, we get to see a preview of the burn as it's going to happen in a fast-forwarded version. The black area is the area of the burn, and the red indicates the space around the burn. But the red will not be visible when it burns. This is just showing you everywhere that the laser is going to move over the material that you're burning and around the design that you want to burn. While in this preview window, we can also see more details about the burn. I think the preview window is an invaluable component to the software. It is so helpful to see how it is going to burn out. Burn out sounds funny, but basically how your project is going to be produced by the laser engraver. It's a great way to discover and correct any errors before burning them to the material that you're using so that materials don't get wasted. Now, some errors are easy to prevent and others are hard to anticipate, especially when you are on the learning curves, as you'll find out later in this video. This file is now being saved and I'm going to move to the laser engraver to get a little bit more hands-on experience using the machine. To start out, I'm just going to use this little sample piece of wood from a craft store. I'm just measuring it to make sure that my design will fit onto it nicely, and it will. It is a square inside of the machine, and I guess it's just a plate to place things on. And I am assuming it's just to prevent the table from getting burned and create some ventilation underneath of the burn. So now I've positioned the square in the LightBurn program to line up with 70 millimeters and 80 millimeters here. And this piece of wood is in a good position to receive that burn. But there is one more thing I can add, is even though this seems a little haphazard to me, like the whole placing of this grid and then the positioning of the wood on it, because, you know, how do you know it's aligning properly with the laser engraver? I do know that, much like an embroidery machine, the laser and the arm gives you the option of marking the perimeter, and it does this with just a light so that you can see where it's going to burn before it burns. And you can do that as many times as you need to before actually burning, so that you have a chance to move the grid or move the actual piece of wood so that it lines up beautifully when you burn. Okay, so with the goggles on the top of my head, I am turning on the laser engraver just in case it decides to do anything weird. There's me and my worrying. I'm going to turn on the machine here, and we should see the screen light up. There we go. Okay, so now it's time to see if we can burn something. So Wi-Fi, I need to get the Wi-Fi sorted out first so that it will work. You've got your language here, English for me, confirm, and then go back. Also, we have a USB key. It's not really supposed to be in there, it just seems to fit nicely in there, so that's where I keep it. There's actually a cover that comes for this corner of the machine. I just didn't put it on. Let's look at this again. Operation, screen, introduction. Okay, adjustment, engrave, control, tool. Now that's interesting because mine actually doesn't say engrave, it says carving. Control, tool. I'm assuming it's the same thing. Here, laser power adjustment ratio. This power value is used in positioning. Okay, laser power adjustment ratio. So let's see what that one is. So that's adjustment, and there it is. I'm not going to mess with that right now. Next one, control. So in this one it says unlock motor status. I'm still on the learning curve with this one, so I'll come back to this later. I don't think that I absolutely need to use these controls to make the burn today. Select the file to be engraved. Determine the file position by stroke, and then set the origin to engrave. And here we have the mark the perimeter button, and this is the one that will allow you to see the outline of the area that you're going to burn before you burn it. And save the slice file to the TF card. Slice is new terminology to me as well. All right. Place engraving material like we did in here. Pull out the focal length positioning bar. Oh yes, that's the little bar. So if I take this off of here, there's a bar on the side of this. Okay, I got a little bit more light because it's hard to see some of these things in this dark corner of the studio. So it says here to pull out the positioning bar. So I just found it and I need to find it again. There it is. Bring this piece of wood over and move the bar a little, the arm. Just going back to the instructions for installing the laser device. I was searching to see, how I make the adjustment to that to make that guide basically touch the wood. So when you're inserting it, you insert the laser device along the groove and use the side screws to tighten it at the desired level, the desired height. So what that means is there are 2 screws in there. One of the screws is lower down and it is closer to the arm that measures the height of the wood, and the other one is higher up, but they are both holding the laser device in place. Once you unscrew them, hopefully they will be loosened enough that you can lower it down and make sure that that measuring arm is just touching the wood. Once you have this in the right position, you want to tighten the screws again, and that little arm that is sticking out at the bottom will be folded back up. Now I've tightened up those screws and secured them, I have put the little arm back up. We went through how to bring the information to the machine, either by Wi-Fi, through the cable that connects to your laptop, or through the little card that comes with it to transfer the file, either using the LightBurn or the Elegoo laser app. Now we've gone through the steps also of adjusting this so that it's in the correct position for the burn. So let's come over here now. Click to engrave. Select engraving file. So I don't have any files on here quite, so I'm just going to do this, quite yet. Okay, let's go here. Next step is to click to engrave. So I'm going to come over here and it says carving, we'll click that. And it says info, no files found. So now is the time that I put files into the machine. We put the guard back on. Make sure the guard is on the machine at all times when it's plugged in and in use. So I went into my documents, I found the file that was saved, put it onto this little USB key, and now I'm going to eject it and put the TF card in the engraver. This little TF card is very delicate. I am trying it out this way around. No, it doesn't work that way. Upside down now with the metal upwards, and just trying to find the slot here. Here we go. Nope. Okay, didn't want to work there, so let's try again. The port is very delicate too, so I'm trying to be very careful here. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to now see if that file is in there. All right, let's find the file. Carving. Let's see what's in here. New file. And it doesn't show me the image, so let's just see if it will mark the perimeter for me. The machine is turned on. The air filter has started working. I can feel a nice breeze. And that's going to filter any smoke from this very small engraving job. It just moved a little bit and then went back. So I'm going to push that again, the perimeter button, because I think that it's doing its thing over here. And I need to move this over here and switch this whole thing around to get it to line up. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Confirm. Let's try that again. This time I will be looking at the arm as it moves. So I'm pretty sure a little light comes on to show you as well, so you'll see a light. I'm actually wearing my laser goggles right now, just in case anything should happen, just to make sure that my eyes are safe. But I think a little light does come on also to show you the perimeter. So let me just do this again, and let's focus here. Focus. Okay, we're going to mark the perimeter again. Here's the little light, so it's showing me it's right there. So I would need to move the piece of wood over if I wanted to center it. mark the perimeter. You can see the green light. It's taken a few tries, but I have brought it to a place where it seems to be in a good position on the wood. It might not be perfectly centered, but it's not bad. So I think we're almost ready to burn. Woohoo! So when I start the burn, I will let the camera film it, and I will not be standing by the machine the whole time. So I'll just position the camera to record the burn, and we'll see how it goes. It's pretty exciting. This is probably the third burn that I've done with the machine. Okay, so on the new page on the screen here, I'm going to push the carving button. And the laser should start. Cancel carving. Okay, so you've got two choices. Once you push it, it says cancel, and then the other one says carving. So I've pushed carving, so the laser light is now on, and it is now burning, and the filter is taking the smoke up and away, and we will see how this turns out. And now I'm starting to wonder if I did pick the correct file, or if I picked a file that I had in there before. What is on it? This is definitely not the file that I put on the card today. That is a very light burn. They're definitely cute. Okay, now I'm going to try and find the file I wanted to burn. And so once it is done, I clicked confirm, and it's taking me back to this screen here. So what I'm going to do now is remove the TF card and put it back in my computer and have a look at what is on it, see if the file actually transferred. What I want to do now, I'm back on the computer, is find out if I need to export this file as something different for the TF card to read it. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken all other images off of the card, and now I'm going to try again. I'm going to go into carving, back, go into carving, and it's not showing any files. Oh. As disappointing as it is that I am unable to read the file that I did put on the card at this time, I am still going to proceed to try to figure this out, and in the second half of the video you'll see that I found a way around it. It has been a while since I purchased this engraver and used this little card. The files on here are from almost a year ago. So I did do some upgrades to the LightBurn software since then, and who knows if that's had any effect on it. We just don't know. It could be any number of issues. So I've decided to use the cable that comes with the machine, and I have plugged it in over here. And now we'll see if we can send the files directly to the laser engraver from the computer. So while trying to figure out the problem with connecting my laptop to my laser engraver or transferring the files over to burn, I realized there was another Wi-Fi, so the other Wi-Fi is connected directly to the laser engraver. Just sharing how I problem solved to find my way to connecting the laser and the computer. I went into the laser tab, then the devices tab. Then I tried to find my laser and clicked next and found nothing. So I went back, selected a name of the laser, a laser engraver, and then clicked again, and again it found nothing. Then I tried the other name, one that I'd previously saved, and find my laser. Now we're on the house Wi-Fi at this time, and I hadn't realized that I needed to switch over. So I close out of here go up here to my Wi-Fi and switch over to the Wi-Fi for the laser engraver. Once connected, you'll see the area at the top of the laser window says ready as opposed to disconnected, which is what it said before. And now I just take a look at these tabs in here, optimizing the settings, just to see if there's anything that I can understand and could adjust as needed. I end up deciding to leave this as it is. Okay, I'm going to take the win on having learned something else. So basically, I've managed to get the laptop to communicate with the laser engraver using the USB cable. I have managed to bring up the box that says now ready. Before it said disconnected. Now it says ready, and I can push this frame button here and it will show us where it's going to burn. And it looks like quite a large burn, actually, the design, larger than I thought. So I'm just going to bring this over here. And let's try it again. Frame. As long as it is on the wood, it will go well. Let's select frame again. I'll probably show this on a split screen so you can see what I'm doing on the computer at the same time as lining this up. Okay, frame again. It is very close to the edge of the wood, but it is okay. Let me see. Okay, so a fraction like that. One more time. Lovely. Okay, so I can burn that. What I am going to do is take these little pegs here. I'm going to put one in each corner here and there, just to ensure this doesn't move around too much. It's not going to interfere with the burn. It's just going to hold it in place a little bit. It probably doesn't need it, but I'm going to do it anyways, just to secure it a little. All right, let's see what happens now if we do one more frame, just to make sure that those pegs aren't in the way. They are not. Okay. Time to push start and see how it goes. Here we go. I think it says 3 passes for the outside line. I'm feeling this is going to be a very light burn. Air filter is working, that's pretty good. So there's hardly any fumes, not any smoke. It's following exactly what it did in the preview window, except I'm noticing it is very, very faint. I just went with the settings that were in the system. I didn't adjust to the power and the speed. Now I'm wondering if I leave it exactly where it is and run it again, would it make the letters come up even stronger? Because that would qualify as another pass. Or should I adjust the power and see what happens? Without moving it. And it is very faint. But it does look nice. It is what I designed. So I'm happy that it was created in the program, communicated to the laser, and burnt. Now I just have to work on I guess the intensity of the burn, the speed, the power. Let me see, I'll go to the cut layers. I'm actually going to see what happens if I go to the layers and change the speed and the power. So the first one was the outline, and it is really faint. So I'm going to change it from 80 to the speed. I'm going to slow down the speed. Let's go to 60 and power, say 80, and pass counts 3. We'll leave that like that. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to make adjustments to the speed and the power for an actual burn. This will be interesting. Okay, so let's adjust this now for the layer, which is the words, and looking at them, they are very faint. So I think slowing down the speed makes it burn better. I'm going to go to 80, and the power is 35. So I'm going to make the power 45, and I'm going to make it 2 passes. This is an experiment, so we shall see. We shall see. Okay, so I'm going to save it like that. Saved. And then I'm going to go back into the laser. Where's the rest of the tabs? The laser tab seems to have disappeared. I'll just go back over to the sidebar here and reopen it. So it says ready. I am going to frame just to double check that it's going to work in the same place. Okay, and let's do it. Make sure my goggles are on. I'm going to be looking at the screen here, not at the actual laser. Okay, start. So we're burning again, and this time I changed the speed and the power a little bit, because the wood, it seems it can take a little bit more in order to burn, to have it actually show up nicely. This portion of the video has been sped up. And now the machine does a second pass over the words. I like that I can have the iPad up here filming it and be looking at the screen, seeing clearly what's happening. It even brings it in closer to me. Okay, let's take a look and see how it did. Oh, that is cool. I'm pretty excited that this has turned out the way it has. Thank you for joining me, and I hope this learning curve has been helpful to someone else too. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, please go to ArtWithJanineLiza on YouTube and find a playlist for laser engraving. On this channel, you will also find a variety of other creativity-focused videos. To help Art with Janine Liza YouTube grow, please feel free to click subscribe.